All right, hey guys, I'm Annabelle with Great British Mag, and I know in this time we're all kind of facing lower productivity than we're used to. We're all doing online classes or online work, and working in ways we might not be used to right now. I know I certainly am. I was just studying abroad in London a few weeks ago, and now I'm back in the US doing my classes online. It's been a little bit of a difficult transition, as I'm sure it has been for everybody. So I've gone ahead and downloaded all of these apps, given them a try, and now I'm gonna give you guys kind of the rundown on how the apps work and also what's kind of good about them. So all of the apps are supposed to be ways to increase your productivity, be that from sleep to maybe keeping you on track to apps that remind you to take a break every now and then. Okay, so now the first one is called Focus Keeper. So this app is basically meant to make sure that you take a break, because I know when you don't have a structured time day like all of us are kind of facing right now, it's hard to know when to take a break, when to stop. So how it works is there's basically a timer, and this timer automatically resets after a 25-minute increment, and then you take a 5-minute break. When you wake up and you have the full day ahead of you, you know, it's like you can take all the time in the world to do these things, even though maybe if you worked a little faster or you had some sort of time pressure on you, you'd work faster and then you could take a break. You definitely need to turn off the ticking feature. So let me show you really fast. Okay, so this is the app. You can kind of like slide through this way to change how long you want to do it for, and then you click play. And can you hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of my nightmares right there. So you can go ahead and turn that little feature off. This is a good way, again, of making sure that you're using your time efficiently. Okay, so the next one is called StudyBlue. Now this is basically a flashcard app, so it helps you study. And I know a lot of us still have those online classes that we have to study for. When you log on, it actually knows what university you're a part of. It suggested classes that I could basically sign into. And these classes were like psych, econ, things like that already had flashcards built from other people. So it was a really cool little storage of things. I can go through my university classes, and they even had it per professor. So when I clicked on psych, I could then see the drop down of the different psychology teachers at Mizzou, the university I go to. Did it freak me out for a second? Yes, because I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was like, how does it know this about me? But it's a cool feature that allows you to see what classes already have flashcards for them, and then maybe see what other people are doing. So now the Oxford English Dictionary app. I was a little skeptical at first because, I mean, we all know the Oxford English Dictionary, but on the app you can actually search through taking pictures of the word, or you can speak it out loud. So say there's a word somebody said and you don't know how to spell it, which that happens to me a lot because I'm a terrible speller, then you can search words that way. Also, if you're a word whiz and want to know the word of the day, there's always a word of the day. So actually, what is today's word? Let's find out. Okay, pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. A pragmatic approach to politics. Hey, maybe you learned something new. All right, so the next app is called Voice Dictation. Now, this one, I was so curious how this was gonna work. So basically you speak into the app and it translates it into written text. And that written text, it's really easy to then send off to whomever you wanna send it to. And I was curious how the translation would go. Like, how well did it track what I was saying and write it down correctly? So I gave it a whirl. And the first try went really well. The second try, not so well. So I would recommend talking a little slower. Now I was speed talking. I was talking like this the whole time, trying to see how fast it could keep up with me. So not how you would normally speak. I just wanted to put it through a little test. I kind of got bored, so I started doing this. But you can switch it into any other language. So I thought it was kind of fun to see it in Chinese. Now, I think you could use this app practically if after you finish a lecture, you just wanted to talk out the main points you got from it, because I know that's a good way of retaining information. So you can just kind of talk through to the app these notes and it saves it. All right, and we all know how much group projects can be a pain to organize. So this next app called Trello, it basically helps with group work because you have categories such as things to do, doing, and then done. And so with these different lists, you can then write down different tasks you're working on. You can add members to that task, due dates for that task, etc. And I know with group projects, accountability is so difficult to come by. This was a cool app, I thought, in being able to look through the different ways and like the different part of the process that each of your team members is in, and holding yourself accountable as well as others accountable. My homework student planner is basically your app planner. And so for this one, you write down different tasks, you pick which class, so you can write out your classes, then pick which class each of these tasks are for, and you can label how important it is to get it done first. So I know one of the big perks of having a planner is that satisfaction you get when you can finally cross something off your list, right? And so you can actually still do that on this app. It's cool to keep you on track with knowing, you know what, this is the assignment I'm gonna work on next, then this one, then this one, then this one. So, organization. It's a good thing. So I've heard of Duolingo before, and I've actually used it before looking kind of through these apps to test them out. And I know it's because my Spanish teacher at my university has mentioned it before. So Duolingo is a language learning app, and it's based off of games. It teaches you all aspects of language, so reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And so it goes through these fun little games. It's like cute and animated, little birdie thing. It's cute. So for example, I've taken 5 years of Spanish, and so for this, you take a placement test before you get started. So it knows exactly where you're coming in and what knowledge you have, and it places you at those lessons at that point. You're not basically starting at ground zero and trying to work your way up again with stuff that you've already learned. And then also with that free time, guys, I mean, hey, maybe learn a new language. That'd be kind of cool. And then this next one I've definitely used, been a huge lifesaver for me writing papers, EasyBib. So I didn't really find a phone-friendly version, but I've always used it on my laptop. Love using it. It has saved me time and time again with bibliographies and writing those citations for essays, which we are all still writing. I know I've had several essays due in this time, and have I used EasyBib? Every single time. So a little less school oriented, but still productivity based. There's a sleep cycle app. It tracks your sleep pattern. If you allow access to your microphone, it then tells if you're awake or not somehow by using your microphone. And so it will then help you be able to wake up not groggy, because if you wake up at a certain point in your sleep cycle, it's been proven that it kind of messes with your body and your mind and being able to wake up and be fully awake at that time your alarm clock goes off, you know? And so this app is apparently supposed to help you wake up without that grogginess, because it wakes you up at the right time. Without having schedules, it's so difficult to be waking up at a consistent time. Like, time feels like it doesn't exist, but this is a good way, I guess, to force yourself to kind of get into that pattern and feel better when you wake up. All right, now MathWay, I wish I had had this when I was doing my online math class. So I took calculus online. Yes, it was as bad as it sounds. It was really terrible. And sometimes when you don't have that teacher in front of you, specifically in a math class showing you the steps, it's so difficult to figure it out. The keyboard is designated for specific classes. So you can go to calculus, you can go to statistics, etc. So the keyboard function does look different than it does on your phone, because, you know, you're using very different symbols. If you have the free version, it doesn't show you the steps, but it does get you the answer. Okay, so lastly, Super Notes. Now this is an app that's basically like an online notepad. Every single note you take is on basically a pad layout. You can only do up to 4 notes before you switch over to the paid version. Categories are note, memo, lecture, and meeting. And so it's color coded by those and kind of groups them by color. And it's just like typing out on a notepad. So if you maybe like that visual, this would be a really good app for you to see that visual of lines and notepads, but it's all digital. So it's super easy to send to a friend, maybe somebody you're collaborating notes with. All right, guys, so those are the apps that we were reviewing today. I hope some of them may be helpful, or this review helped you out a little bit. It's been an adjustment period for sure, but with adjustment, I feel like there's room to maybe try some new things out while you're figuring out what your new routine looks like. And then for any more information student related, be sure to check out greatbritishmag.co.uk. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.